Have you ever felt like fear and anxiety have you in their grip? You're not alone. We've all been there, in the throes of unease, uncertainty shadowing our every step. But what if I told you there's a way to not just endure, but to thrive amidst these challenges? This path of illumination is lit by the wisdom of the Stoics, ancient philosophers who mastered the art of resilience. The Stoics believed that our perceptions shape our reality. They taught that the power to live a fulfilling life lies not in evading fear or anxiety, but in changing how we perceive them. Envision fear and anxiety as not menacing monsters, but as teachers, catalysts for growth and opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Consider the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who advised us not to wish for things to happen as we want, but to want things to happen as they do. This is not about surrendering control, but about embracing reality and choosing how we respond to it. It's about viewing obstacles not as hindrances, but as stepping stones, leading us to greater heights. The Stoic wisdom encourages us to look fear and anxiety in the eye and say, "You are not my master. I will learn from you. I will grow stronger because of you." It's in this shift of perception that we find the power to transform our lives. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." It's a timeless reminder that we control our reactions and our perceptions. So let's reframe our perspective. Let's see fear and anxiety as opportunities to practice courage, to build resilience, and to develop wisdom. When faced with adversity, let's remember that the obstacle isn't there to block our path, but to reveal a new one. Remember, the obstacle is the way. It's not what happens to us, but how we react that matters. Let's carry this wisdom with us as we continue our journey of self-discovery, and let it guide us as we navigate life's winding paths. Let's harness the power of perception and become masters of our minds. Words carry power, and the Stoics knew this well. They understood that a well-crafted mantra can be a potent tool for overcoming fear and anxiety. A Stoic mantra is a succinct, memorable phrase that encapsulates a key principle of this ancient philosophy. Consider the power of this mantra from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. It's not things that upset us, but our judgment about things. This simple phrase reminds us that our reactions, not the events themselves, hold the power over our emotional well-being. When fear or anxiety strike, repeating this mantra can help shift our perspective, reminding us that we have the power to choose our response. But how does one go about developing a Stoic mantra? The process is beautifully simple. Start by reflecting on the Stoic teachings that resonate with you. It could be the idea of seeing obstacles as opportunities, embracing the dichotomy of control, or any other principle that speaks to you. Once you've identified a principle, distill it down to its essence, crafting a brief, easily remembered phrase. Let's take a moment to appreciate the wisdom of the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This mantra reminds us of the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control, our thoughts and actions, rather than fretting over external circumstances. Developing your Stoic mantra is not a one-time task, but a continuous process of refinement. As you grow and evolve, so too should your mantra. It should serve as a constant reminder of the Stoic principles you aspire to embody, a beacon guiding you towards wisdom and resilience in the face of fear and anxiety. And remember, your mantra is not just a set of words, but a commitment. It's a pledge to live by the Stoic principles, to face fear with courage, to confront anxiety with equanimity. So arm yourself with your Stoic mantra. Use it as a shield against the onslaught of fear and anxiety. Let it echo in your mind during moments of distress, serving as a soothing balm for your troubled thoughts. Your mantra is your anchor. Use it wisely. In the storm of life, wouldn't you prefer to be the calm center? Today we delve into the practice of apatheia, a concept central to Stoic philosophy. The term apatheia may sound a lot like apathy, but don't be fooled. Unlike apathy, which suggests indifference or lack of interest, apatheia represents a state of tranquility, free from irrational passions, fear and distress. It's an inner calm that remains undisturbed, regardless of what storms may rage outside. Imagine being a rock in a turbulent sea, unyielding and steadfast, while waves of emotion crash around you. This is the calmness of apatheia. It's not about being emotionless, but about not allowing your emotions to control you. It's about finding a peaceful center within yourself, regardless of the chaos that surrounds you. Achieving apatheia is not an overnight process, but a lifelong journey. It begins with understanding and accepting that emotions are natural, human responses, but they don't have to dictate our actions. Stoics believe in the power of reason to guide us through life's turbulence. By training our minds to respond to situations with reason rather than emotion, we can achieve a state of apatheia. Take, for instance, the fear of public speaking. It's a common fear, but is it rational? What's the worst that could happen? A stumble over words, perhaps a moment of awkward silence? When we examine our fears through the lens of reason, we often find them to be irrational. By recognizing this, we can start to let go of these irrational fears and find our calm center. Practicing apatheia also means accepting that some things are beyond our control. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." By focusing on what we can control, our responses, rather than what we can't control, the circumstances, we can achieve a sense of calm and tranquility. Peace isn't the absence of turmoil, it's calmness amidst it. By practicing apatheia, we can become the calm center in the storm of life, unswayed by irrational passions or distress, and navigate our way through life with a sense of tranquility and resilience. Have you ever thought of adversity as your teacher? A provocative question, isn't it? Yet, it is one that the Stoics, those timeless philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome, asked themselves frequently. They perceived adversity not as a cruel mistress, but rather as a stern tutor, imparting wisdom and moulding character. Adversity, my friends, has a unique way of revealing who we truly are. It strips away pretenses and leaves us bare, exposed to our own strengths and weaknesses. And it is in this naked truth, in this raw honesty, that we find the opportunity for growth. For the Stoics, adversity served as the anvil upon which they forged their resilience and wisdom. Consider the words of Marcus Aurelius, a celebrated Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor. He once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In essence, he was suggesting that adversity isn't a hindrance, but an opportunity, a chance to learn, to grow, to become better. But how do we transform adversity into wisdom? Well, it starts with our perception. We must choose to see adversity not as a stumbling block, but as a stepping stone that leads us to greater understanding and self-awareness. We can also seek solace in the knowledge that adversity is a universal experience. It is an integral part of the human condition. Epictetus, another esteemed Stoic, proclaimed, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." He saw adversity as a mirror, reflecting our true selves back at us. Remember, my friends, that the path of wisdom is not always easy. It is paved with trials and tribulations, with hardships and adversities. But it is through overcoming these challenges that we cultivate resilience, develop character, and gain wisdom. So the next time you face adversity, do not shy away. Embrace it, learn from it, allow it to teach you and shape you. For as the Stoics taught us, adversity isn't a barrier, it's a stepping stone. Ever felt chained by your own desires? This question invites us to explore the Stoic practice of non-attachment, a powerful tool in the quest for true freedom and inner peace. Imagine a bird flying high in the sky, unencumbered by the weight of worldly possessions. This bird doesn't worry about the next meal or where it will rest at night. It simply exists in the moment, living fully and freely. This is the essence of non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean indifference or lack of care. Rather, it's a conscious decision to not let our happiness be dictated by external possessions or circumstances. Stoic wisdom teaches us that the key to true freedom lies not in acquiring more, but in desiring less. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once remarked, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." This is the crux of non-attachment. By relinquishing our need for control over the uncontrollable, we liberate ourselves from the shackles of fear and anxiety. Consider a tree in autumn. It does not cling desperately to its leaves, fearing the coming winter. Instead, it lets them go, understanding that this is the natural cycle of life. The tree knows that spring will come again, bringing with it new life and growth. This is the wisdom of non-attachment. Practicing non-attachment doesn't mean giving up on our dreams or ambitions. It means pursuing them with vigor, but without becoming attached to the outcome. It means finding happiness within ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. It means recognizing that our worth is not defined by what we have, but by who we are. Remember, non-attachment is not a destination, but a journey. It is a practice to be cultivated, a mindset to be nurtured. As we navigate the ebb and flow of life, let us strive to be like the bird, soaring freely, unburdened by the weight of attachment. Now let us reflect on this thought. Freedom isn't about having everything, it's about not being owned by anything. May this wisdom guide us on our journey towards a life of true freedom and inner peace. Who are the people you admire most? This thought-provoking question is our gateway into the sixth scene, where we immerse ourselves in the power of virtuous role models and their influence on our lives. The world around us is a vast tapestry, interwoven with stories of individuals who have shaped history with their virtues, overcoming adversities with resilience, courage, and wisdom. These individuals, these virtuous role models, are not just figures of the past or characters from a storybook. They are real people, like you and me, who have walked the path of virtue and left footsteps for us to follow. Visualizing virtuous role models is not about idolizing or emulating them blindly, but rather it's about understanding their virtues and integrating them into our own lives. It's about seeing their resilience in the face of adversity, their courage when confronted with fear, their wisdom in navigating the complexities of life, and asking ourselves, how can I cultivate these virtues within myself? By visualizing virtuous role models, we are essentially setting a benchmark for our own actions and thoughts. We are setting our moral compass, guiding us towards virtuous actions and decisions. When we visualize these role models, we create a mental image that serves as a reminder of the virtues we aspire to embody. It's like having a personal guide, a beacon of light, guiding us through the darkness of uncertainty and fear. And as we walk this path, we begin to realize the transformative power of these virtues. We begin to see the world through a lens of wisdom and courage, resilience and virtue. We begin to understand that fear and anxiety are not obstacles, but opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Emulating a virtuous role model is not about perfection, but about progress. It's about striving for virtue, despite the challenges and setbacks. It's about embracing the journey, not just the destination. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves, one virtue at a time. Remember, you become who you admire, choose carefully. The power to shape our lives lies within us. The virtuous role models we choose to visualize are merely guides, helping us navigate the path of virtue. So choose your role models wisely, for they have the power to shape your life in ways you can't even imagine. Ever felt frustrated by things beyond your control? It's a common feeling, isn't it? We strive for control in a world that is by nature uncontrollable. But what if I told you that the secret to peace of mind lies not in gaining control over the uncontrollable, but in understanding the dichotomy of control? That's right, the Stoics, those ancient philosophers who seem to have it all figured out, have some wisdom to share on this very topic. The Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control is quite simple. It's the understanding that some things are within our control and some are not. The Stoics believed that our thoughts, beliefs and actions are within our control. They are the products of our own will, shaped by our own decisions. On the other hand, external events, the behaviors of other people, the weather, the passage of time, these are things we cannot control. Now, this might sound obvious, but how often do we find ourselves fretting over things we cannot change? How many sleepless nights have we spent worrying about tomorrow's weather, or what someone else might think of us? The Stoics would tell us that this is wasted energy, that we should instead focus on what is within our grasp. Imagine the peace of mind that comes from understanding this dichotomy. No longer would we feel the need to control everything around us. We would be free to focus on our own actions, our own thoughts, our own beliefs, and let the uncontrollable unfold as it will. This, according to the Stoics, is the path to tranquility. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is or is not in my control?" By asking ourselves this question, we can start to differentiate between what we can change and what we must accept. So, the next time you find yourself feeling frustrated or anxious about something, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, then take action. If it's not, then let it go. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. Have you ever thought of your body as your mind's ally? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, emphasizes the intricate connection between the mind and body. Stoic masters believed that physical strength and mental resilience are interlinked, each feeding off the other. They practiced physical exercise not just for the sake of health, but as a form of mental training. The Stoics understood that physical exercise, much like a challenging situation, requires endurance, discipline, and the ability to push beyond perceived limits. When you engage in physical activity, you're not just building muscles, you're also cultivating mental toughness. Consider a marathon runner. Each step they take is a testament to their mental fortitude as much as their physical stamina. They don't just run with their legs, they run with their mind, their heart. The same concept applies to any form of physical exercise, whether it's lifting weights, practicing yoga, or even going for a brisk walk. You're developing mental strength alongside physical fitness. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "The obstacle is the way." In the context of physical exercise, the obstacle could be the strain of a heavy weight, the burn of a long run, or the stretch of a difficult yoga pose. The way is the mental resilience built when you embrace these challenges rather than shy away from them. Exercise is a practical demonstration of the Stoic principle of endurance. It's a reminder that we can endure more than we think, that we are stronger than we believe. It's a lesson in resilience, in pushing through discomfort, in embracing the struggle for the sake of growth. Physical exercise also brings about a sense of clarity. It's a form of meditation, a way to quiet the mind and focus on the present moment. It's a time to connect with oneself, to reflect, to grow. It's a time to practice Stoicism. The Stoics saw physical exercise as a means to develop mental strength. They understood that a strong body houses a strong mind, so next time you're working out, remember you're not just exercising your body, you're also exercising your mind. A strong body houses a strong mind. Have you ever felt like your actions and words don't align? This isn't uncommon, but it's a gap we need to bridge if we want to live a fulfilling life. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on virtuous action over empty words. You see, in the grand theatre of life, actions take center stage. Words are like the supporting cast. They set the scene, they provide context, but it's the actions that really tell the story. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In the pursuit of Stoic wisdom, we find that words, no matter how eloquently spoken or beautifully written, are just the surface. Our actions are the depth. They are the tangible expressions of our values, our beliefs, and our character. Consider the ancient Stoic practice of living according to nature. This isn't about simply appreciating the natural world, it's about acting in harmony with it. It's about embodying virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in every action we take. Think of it this way. If life were a canvas, our actions would be the brushstrokes that bring the picture to life. Our words, they're like the colors on the palette. They add nuance and shade, but without those brushstrokes, those actions, the canvas remains blank. But how do we go about aligning our actions with our words? How do we ensure our deeds speak of our virtues? It starts with mindfulness, with making conscious choices, and with practicing integrity even when no one is watching. Remember, it's easy to speak of courage, but it's in the face of fear that we show it. It's easy to talk about wisdom, but it's in the midst of confusion that we demonstrate it. It's easy to preach about justice, but it's in the presence of injustice that we live it. In the end, Stoicism isn't just about knowing the right things, it's about doing the right things. It's about transforming knowledge into action, philosophy into practice, and intentions into realities. Actions speak louder than words. Make them count. Ever felt like you're being pulled in 1,000 directions? This is often the result of an overexposure to external influences. In our interconnected world, we are constantly bombarded with information and opinions which can cloud our judgment and lead to stress and anxiety. The Stoics understood the risks of letting external influences dictate their thoughts and actions. They practiced limiting their exposure to unnecessary distractions, focusing instead on their own minds and actions. This principle is as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago, perhaps even more so in our age of information overload. The goal is not to shut ourselves off from the world, but to selectively engage with it. To quote the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, again, we should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is or is not in my control? Remember that by focusing on what we can control, our actions, our responses, our attitudes, we can maintain our mental equilibrium and live in accordance with our values. Imagine your mind as a fortress. The walls are your discernment and judgment, protecting you from the onslaught of external influences. The gate is your attention, admitting only what is necessary and beneficial. To maintain this fortress, we must be vigilant and discerning, not allowing every piece of information or opinion to breach our defenses. Remember, it's not about rejecting the world, but about engaging with it on your own terms. It's about understanding that while we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, the recognition of our own power and the courage to use it. So how can we put this into practice? Start by taking a few minutes each day to disconnect from the noise of the world. Turn off your phone, close your laptop and just be. Use this time to reflect on your values, your actions and your responses. This simple practice can help you maintain your mental equilibrium and live with greater clarity and purpose. Guard your mind, it's your greatest asset. After all, it is the place where your life truly takes place. It is the source of your power, your wisdom and your freedom. So protect it, cultivate it and use it well. Have you ever wondered where even more power of wisdom lies? It lies in the community, in the collective. So let's bring our collective wisdom together. What's your favorite Stoic principle? Is it the dichotomy of control, or perhaps the freedom of non-attachment? Or maybe it's the virtue of action over empty words. Whatever it is, we would love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your favorite Stoic principle and why it resonates with you. Sharing your thoughts not only enriches your understanding, but also contributes to the wisdom of our community. Engaging in the comments section can lead to deeper insights, spark interesting discussions, and even challenge your existing beliefs. It's a wonderful opportunity to learn from each other and grow together. Remember, wisdom is not a solitary pursuit. It's a journey we take as a community, learning from each other, supporting each other, and growing together. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to become part of our community and stay updated with more insightful content. As we wrap up here, remember, the journey of wisdom is a shared one. We don't just learn from the ancient Stoics, we learn from each other. So, let's continue this journey together, sharing our insights, our questions, and our wisdom. And remember, the power to live a good life lies within you, in your mind, and in your actions. So guard your mind, cultivate wisdom, and take virtuous action. Let's learn together, grow together, and become better together. I'll see you in the next video.